Hey, my fellow nerds, geeks, and or comic book lovers, welcome back to the channel. My name is NeuroSpider369, and today we're here with another episode of Spider-Man movie villains. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done an installment in this series, and I do apologize for that. I've just had other videos that have gotten in the way. Plus, these types of videos take a lot of time for me to work on. Anyways, we're back with it now, and I couldn't be more excited because in this episode of SMMV, we'll be taking a look at Spider-Man 2's Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina. So without further ado, let's get into it. In the film, we're introduced to Dr. Otto Octavius, a brilliant nuclear physicist, and idol to Peter Parker, who engineered the creation of a deuterium-tritium fusion reaction-based protostar, which in theory should act as an infinite energy source for all of New York. Funded by Oscorp Industries, Otto, along with his wife Rosie, built a fusion reactor to sustain the energy with, while in addition, Otto had also built a set of mechanical arms that were connected directly into his neurospinal system and controlled via an inhibitor chip. During a live demonstration, Otto had unfortunately made a miscalculation and the reactor began to suck in any and all metallic objects around it. This sadly led to the death of his beloved wife Rosie, who was killed via shattered glass from the broken windows. Spider-Man arrives and manages to shut down the machine. However, during the ensuing chaos, Otto's mechanical arms were fused to his body and the inhibitor chip was completely damaged. Otto was later taken to the hospital where the doctors attempted to surgically remove the arms from his body. Unbeknownst to them, the arms had become sentient and proceed to kill all the doctors in the room. He then escapes from the hospital and hides out in an abandoned building sitting on the Hudson River. Falling under the influence of his new mechanized arms, Otto decides to rebuild his machine, no matter who stands in his way or how many lives it costs. Dubbed Dr. Octopus by the media, Otto attempts to rob a bank in order to fund himself towards his project. Luckily, Peter just so happened to be there also with his Aunt May and changes into his costume to take on this new villain. The two battle it out with each other, with Ock proving to be more of a match and even briefly taking Aunt May hostage. That is until May clocked his ass out. I'm sorry. I just had to mention it because that scene is just fucking hilarious. Sorry. But anyways, Spider-Man rescues Aunt May from falling to her death shortly after, and the mad scientist slips away during all of this with the money he had stolen. Needing more tritium to fuel his machine, Otto makes a visit to Harry Osborn in his penthouse apartment, where in exchange for more tritium, Otto must bring Spider-Man to him so he can have his revenge for what happened to his father Norman. After yet another confrontation, which leads to the infamous train-stopping scene, Otto delivers an exhausted Peter to Harry and receives the tritium he was promised. With the final component in place, Otto reactivates the machine and it becomes more powerful than it was before. Having escaped from Harry's penthouse, Spider-Man shows up to once again shut down the reactor, with the two naturally engaging in another fight. Little do they know that the protostar within the reactor is growing unstable and becomes self-sustaining. In hopes of reaching his good side as a last resort, Peter reveals his identity to Otto, which ends up working as he comes to the realization that his mechanical arms had warped his mind. Back in his right mind, Otto comes to the conclusion that the only way to stop his machine is to drown it in the river. As a final selfless act, the good doctor uses his arms to pull down the reactor into the water, where he sinks to the bottom along with the reactor, sacrificing himself and saving all of New York in the process. And that was the end of Dr. Octopus. Now, as far as my thoughts towards him, this might perhaps be a bit early in the series for me to say this, but honestly, I don't care. This is without a doubt my favorite Spider-Man movie villain of all time. It's been that way practically ever since I was a kid. Plus, it's a major reason why Octavius is my favorite Spider-Man villain in general. The adaptation we were given, performed by Alfred Molina, was just absolutely perfect. Like it's if they ripped Doc Ock straight out of the comics. If I were to say there are any nitpicks with this depiction, it would have to be with his design. I do prefer his original costume from the comics as opposed to this. It's a bit bland for my liking. But honestly, I can overlook it, as Octavius is technically meant to be portrayed as a more serious and practical villain. But yeah, it's just a minor nitpick with me, and one I really don't let bother me, given Molina's representation of Octavius vastly overshadows it. Well, there you have it. That was Doc Ock from 2004's Spider-Man 2. Next up in the series, I'll be covering Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman from 2007 Spider-Man 3, so stay tuned in for that. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Catch y'all later.